Most people lose their power not because they lack ability, intelligence, or potential, but because they speak too much, explain too often, and scatter their energy in directions that were never meant to receive it. Life does not reward noise, it responds to focus. And the moment you stop announcing your plans, defending your intentions, and reacting to everything around you, something shifts quietly but permanently. Silence is misunderstood. Many confuse it with weakness, avoidance, or fear. In truth, silence is discipline. It is control. It is the decision to stop leaking energy into places that cannot nurture growth. When you focus on yourself in silence, you remove distractions that slow transformation. You begin hearing what truly matters, not opinions, not projections, not expectations, but your own clarity. The most powerful changes in life do not happen in public. They happen in isolation, in quiet decisions no one applauds, in routines no one sees, in discipline no one praises. And that is exactly why they work. When others are watching, ego interferes. When no one knows your moves, purpose takes the lead. Talking too much invites interference. It invites doubt, comparison, judgment, and unnecessary opinions. Silence removes those variables. When you stop explaining yourself, you stop negotiating your destiny. When you stop reacting, you stop feeding distractions. When you stop seeking validation, you regain authority over your life. Focusing on yourself does not mean ignoring others. It means prioritizing alignment. It means choosing growth over approval. It means understanding that not everyone deserves access to your inner world. The less you expose, the more protected your momentum becomes. Focus sharpens when noise fades. There is a reason disciplined people move quietly. They know that progress does not need witnesses. Energy multiplies when conserved. Silence creates space for consistency, and consistency is what reshapes identity, not motivation, not inspiration, repetition in silence. When you stop explaining your journey, life begins responding faster, opportunities align, resistance fades, confusion clears. Not because the world changed, but because your energy did. You are no longer divided between who you are becoming and who others expect you to be. In the coming parts, you will understand why silence accelerates growth, how focus protects momentum, and what happens when you stop reacting and start refining. This is not about disappearing. It is about becoming undeniable, quietly. Focus weakens every time your attention is pulled outward. Each explanation, each reaction, each attempt to be understood divides your energy. Silence gathers it back. When you stop narrating your life to others, your mind stops performing and starts producing. Focus becomes natural when distraction is removed. Most people don't realize how much mental energy is wasted on unnecessary communication, explaining decisions that are already made, defending boundaries that are already clear, responding to opinions that hold no authority over your future. Silence cuts off these drains instantly. What remains is clarity. When you stay silent, you stop feeding external narratives. You are no longer adjusting yourself to fit someone else's understanding. This allows your goals to evolve without interference. Growth requires flexibility. Too many witnesses freeze you into versions of yourself you have already outgrown. Silence also protects momentum. When people know your plans, they unconsciously influence them through doubt, skepticism, or premature praise. Focus thrives when progress is private. The less reaction you manage, the more energy you invest in action. Another reason silence sharpens focus is because it reduces emotional noise. Words carry emotion. Reactions create loops. Silence ends loops. You stop replaying conversations. You stop justifying choices. Mental space opens and focus settles. Staying silent does not mean suppressing thoughts. It means processing internally before expressing externally. This strengthens self-trust. You become your own advisor. Over time, confidence grows, not from affirmation, but from consistent self-direction. Silence trains patience. Focus requires delayed gratification. When you stop announcing goals, you stop expecting immediate recognition. You learn to work without applause. This discipline separates those who finish from those who start loudly and fade quietly. As silence strengthens focus, life begins responding differently. Fewer interruptions, clearer priorities, stronger decisions. You move with intention rather than reaction, and that is where real change begins. When you turn your attention inward and away from constant external input, your inner world begins to reorganize itself. Thoughts slow down, priorities become clearer. You stop reacting to every stimulus and start responding only to what matters. Focus is not force, it is alignment. Focusing on yourself exposes how much of your energy was previously spent managing others' expectations, their approval, their opinions, their reactions. Once that energy returns to you, emotional stability increases. You feel less rushed, less defensive, and more grounded in your decisions. Your self-talk changes when outside voices fade. Instead of echoing doubts planted by others, you begin developing your own internal guidance. Confidence grows quietly, not because you feel superior, but because you feel centered. This internal stability becomes unshakable over time. Focus also reveals patterns you once ignored, habits, triggers, weak points, strengths. Silence gives you the space to observe yourself honestly without judgment. Awareness precedes transformation. You cannot change what you constantly distract yourself from seeing. As focus deepens, emotional reactions lose their grip. You stop taking everything personally. You stop absorbing unnecessary stress. Detachment increases, not from life, but from chaos. This emotional distance allows wiser choices. Focusing on yourself does not isolate you, it refines you. You become selective with your energy, your time, and your commitments. You stop saying yes out of guilt and start saying yes out of alignment. Boundaries strengthen naturally. Inner clarity replaces external validation. You no longer need constant reassurance to move forward. Decisions feel calmer. Mistakes become lessons instead of setbacks. Growth becomes sustainable rather than exhausting. This inner shift is subtle but powerful. Others may not notice immediately, but you will. And once your inner world changes, your outer life has no choice but to follow. Silence disrupts patterns. When you stop reacting the way people expect, confusion replaces control. Distractions lose their grip because they no longer receive energy. Many external pressures survive only through response. Silence starves them. Staying silent removes predictability. When others cannot anticipate your reactions, they cannot manipulate your focus. You become harder to pull off course because your attention is no longer available on demand. Focus deepens as reactivity fades. Noise attracts interference. Silence filters it. When you stop sharing every thought and plan, fewer opinions find their way into your process. This protects direction. Progress thrives when it is not constantly evaluated. Distractions often disguise themselves as urgency. Immediate responses, quick explanations, emotional engagement. Silence exposes false urgency by refusing to participate. What truly matters remains, what doesn't dissolves. Staying silent also strengthens emotional regulation. You give yourself time to process before responding, if you respond at all. This pause prevents impulsive decisions that drain focus and delay growth. Silence forces distractions to reveal themselves. When you no longer engage, their importance fades. What was once loud becomes irrelevant. Your mental space clears. People who depend on your reactions may resist your silence. This resistance is information. It shows where your energy was being consumed unnecessarily. Focus returns as access reduces. In silence, distractions lose direction. Focus gains momentum. You move forward without friction. Not because life became easier, but because you became disciplined. The most powerful transformations rarely announce themselves. They happen beneath the surface. In choices no one notices and habits no one applauds. When you focus on yourself and stay silent, growth becomes private and therefore stronger. No pressure to perform, no need to prove progress, just steady evolution. Without constant commentary, your efforts compound. You stop resetting your momentum to satisfy curiosity or explain delays. Time stretches, focus deepens, progress accelerates quietly while others remain distracted by visibility rather than substance. Silence removes comparison. When you are not broadcasting your journey, you stop measuring your pace. against someone else's timeline. You begin honoring your own rhythm. This is where confidence stabilizes, not from speed, but from consistency. Focusing inward also changes how you handle setbacks. Without an audience, failure becomes data, not embarrassment. You adjust privately, refine strategies, and continue without interruption. Resilience grows where ego fades. Others may assume nothing is happening. Let them. Silence protects your process from premature judgment. Growth does not need validation while it is forming. It needs space. As transformation unfolds quietly, discipline replaces motivation. You no longer rely on emotional highs to act. Systems take over, habits solidify. Focus sustains progress when enthusiasm fades. Staying silent also builds self-respect. You stop seeking approval and start trusting your own direction. This internal validation is stable. It does not fluctuate with opinion. The quiet transformation eventually becomes visible, not through words, but through results. And when results speak, explanations become unnecessary. Life listens more closely when you speak less. When you stop explaining, complaining, and reacting, your actions begin carrying more weight. Energy that was once scattered through words is redirected into movement. Life responds to consistency, not conversation. Staying silent removes resistance. Arguments dissolve, expectations fade. You stop fighting narratives that never served you. This allows opportunities to surface naturally, without force or persuasion. People treat you differently when you move quietly. Your calm creates uncertainty for those who relied on your reactions. Respect increases, not because you demand it, but because self-control commands it. Life also begins mirroring your discipline. As your focus sharpens, distractions lessen. As your silence deepens, clarity expands. You start noticing how much noise once slowed your progress. Staying silent also protects timing. When you stop announcing intentions, life unfolds without pressure. You act when ready, not when expected. This alignment improves outcomes. Focus invites precision, invites progress, invites confidence. This chain strengthens when silence removes unnecessary friction. Life does not respond to who you say you will become. It responds to who you are becoming through action. Silence allows that becoming to happen uninterrupted. When you stop talking, life starts cooperating, not magically, but logically. Energy conserved becomes momentum applied. Change accelerates quietly. There comes a point when the change becomes visible, even though you never announced it. Your presence feels different. Your reactions are measured. Your words are fewer, but carry weight. This shift is not performative. It is earned through discipline and focus. People begin noticing what they cannot explain. You no longer chase attention. You no longer justify choices. You move with quiet certainty. This unsettles those accustomed to controlling outcomes through noise. Silence rewires perception. When you stop oversharing, curiosity replaces judgment. When you stop reacting, respect replaces interference. This shift changes how others engage with you. Focusing on yourself also alters the quality of your relationships. Shallow connections fade, meaningful ones strengthen. Silence filters access naturally without confrontation. Others may project assumptions onto your silence. Let them. Focus is not clarity for everyone, it is clarity for you. Those aligned will understand without explanation. Your energy becomes self-contained, less influenced, less reactive, more intentional. This stability is rare and noticeable. Staying silent does not make you invisible, it makes you grounded. People feel the difference before they see it. This is the shift that cannot be imitated, because it comes from inner work, not performance. Eventually you reach a place where silence no longer feels like effort. It feels like peace. Focus becomes natural. Your energy settles. You are no longer pulled in multiple directions by expectation, opinion, or noise. Life begins reflecting your inner order. Decisions come easier. Distractions lose urgency. You stop chasing outcomes and start shaping them through consistency. The need to explain disappears. Your life speaks through results, calm, presence, and direction. Silence becomes your signature. You realize that focusing on yourself was never about isolation. It was about alignment. Staying silent was never about avoidance. was about discipline. What once felt uncertain becomes stable. What once felt overwhelming becomes manageable. Focus transforms effort into progress. Others may still talk. You no longer need to. Your actions communicate clearly. This is the quiet advantage. While others are distracted by noise, you are building something real. Focus on yourself. Stay silent. Watch how life changes, not loudly, but permanently.